All right, the fourth season of Stranger Things concluded with 2 episodes. I didn't really pay attention to how many they had, and it's just as well, because when you don't have the material for more, yeah, you should keep it short. But they took a break for just 2 more episodes. So I don't know. It seems like you would have, kind of tried to cut it in half or something. And the last 2 episodes, they maybe could have kind of split those into 4. But it was better than the last season. They found an intriguing story for the overall narrative of Stranger Things, and they give it something of an origin where, she's Elle is number 11. So that means there was a number 1, and so we meet him, we see his story, and from what I could tell, a lot of the blame goes to Papa, but I think number 1 was always bad. And there was no saving him or anything. And so and all that's left is, the big battle to take him down, and they do. Kind of, sort of. Maybe he's still around. We don't know. But he almost achieves his end of ripping open reality, and the Upside Down invades our world or what have you. And the whole town is ruptured and everything. But there was this weird earthquake. But only a few know the truth. But the performances are fine. They go through, but it's kind of and that's where it falls back into form. Certainly with 11 taking this guy on, and the kids forming their plan, and all of that. Meanwhile, the Hopper, eventually escapes from Russia. And reunites with Elle, and that's all nice and sweet. But that was the more interesting thing. That there was 2 separate adventures that were completely separate in that aspect. Although technically speaking, what happens to the creatures at the end, apparently, they're still connected to whatever number 1 did. So that was another added plus for the series overall, but there just didn't seem to be any other way to satisfactorily end it other than, it's a big fight and it's over, and it's more or less predictable. And their plan seems to be failing. Elle's losing, and then of course love is the answer. So it conquers all and all this. Some pretty good performances by some of these people, some of the newer ones, and that was pretty good. And some things are a little too sweet. There was the lesbian girl, and she had a crush on another girl in the school, and then come to find out she's dating this guy, and so it's, she's all heartbroken and everything. And that's more or less what reality is. It's tough, and you see something like that, but then later on, she broke up with the boyfriend, and maybe she's gay too. She just didn't quite know it. And I sure could go that way, especially with teenagers, but it was more real. That just, it was a tough thing, but she'll have to keep looking and stuff like that. But still, you get this little sweet ending there, all that. The new character who was the leader of the Hellfire Club and all that, he didn't get the good ending, even though he was completely innocent of what everyone thought he had done and all this stuff. And he dies. And then there's what's his name, the sad kid who obviously they don't come out and say it, but it's blatantly obvious that he's in love with Mike, and he has to just basically sacrifice those feelings because he knows Elle will make Mike happy, and so he stops interfering with that and reveals to him that this is his chance for love. His brother's aware of this. He comforts him and all that, so that's all very well handled and sweet and stuff. And that's pretty much how they dealt with that. I don't know what resolution they'll have for the final season, but it is time to end it because there's nothing else to do. And probably should have worked on how this could be the ending. The setup was pretty good, and it was interesting to explore this other character, and that this was more of an origin of the world of Stranger Things, and how it all started and all that. My guess is he's still alive. He'll come back for another strike at this, but that just becomes very repetitive. So I'm not entirely certain what else they can do. And ultimately, I don't know, Elle and Mike get married and run away together at the end, and that's about it. But who knows? One of the other interesting things was like it showed the Soviets were experimenting on the creature and had other creatures at their base or whatever. Could have done something with that, I suppose, but that looks like they're all wiped out. That too. I mean, the escape. With the creatures breaking out and killing everybody, so it says okay. There's some credibility that these idiots are able to outfox the Soviet soldiers at the prison and all that sort of stuff, and it's a bit of a stretch. But then again, there's these monsters in there, so you can give them that. But Stranger Things was this thing that came along, and it had some cool aspects to it, and a lot of it is just the aesthetics of it and the 80s nostalgia and the creepiness and atmosphere of it, and the good performances by these young actors, and that was all impressive. But there's really nothing else to it, and it's unfortunate. It's not as clever as Dark, which was often compared to this, I guess because it involved the 80s and stuff like that. But Dark was infinitely superior to this, and did go somewhere, had an overall plan and narrative that, probably just an outline, and they got there as they went, but nevertheless, they pulled it off. There's a few stumbles here and there, but it's just, it's a classic, instantly a great science fiction series to seek out. But Stranger Things doesn't measure up to that one. Stranger Things was more of a fun show and all that sort of thing, but you can't keep doing the same thing. And even though they came up with something here to give it an origin story, which is good, ultimately it ends the same way. And so I don't expect much from the final season, but it's wise to go ahead and end it, because trying to milk it for any further is just going to be, you're going to end up turning it into The Walking Dead, which was a once great show, and then it became obvious you don't have any other ideas, you're just going to keep doing the same thing. So, and you just, you shuffle the deck chairs at that point. Now the deck chair it's over here now, and the other one's upside down now, that makes it different. No, you're still on the deck, and it's still chairs. So, we'll see what they can do, but not optimistic that they got any, new take on it or some new twist or what have you. This looks like it was about it, but I guess they just want to give it a good send-off and wrap up the different characters and where they're going and all that sort of stuff. And that'll be about it. So there you go. It was a better season than the last one, but in the end, well, I guess I got to say not by much. It's unfortunate, but hey, there's no ideas. There's no idea. That's that's the way it goes.